Hirin returned the next night. Daewon was tuning his guitar when the door opened. He knew it was her before he looked up. Something in the way the air changed, the way silence seemed to follow in her wake. She wore the same dark cloak, hood pulled low, and moved to the same corner table. This time she did not wait for him to play. As soon as he struck the first chord, her voice joined his. That same impossible sound, resonant and layered, weaving through his melody like thread through cloth. Daewon closed his eyes and let the music take him. They played 3 songs together. Each one felt like a conversation without words. His guitar asked questions. Her voice answered. Sometimes she led and he followed. Sometimes they moved together, perfectly synchronized. When the last note faded, Daewon opened his eyes. Hirin was watching him from the shadows. He could not see her face, but he felt the weight of her gaze. "Will you tell me what you are?" he asked quietly. The hood tilted. "What do you think I am?" "Not human." "Your voice. Nothing human can make sounds like that." "No, not human." She was silent for a moment. "Are you afraid?" Daewon considered this. He should be. Station Hollow Point was full of dangerous things. Aliens who could kill with a thought. Criminals running from justice. Things that wore human shapes but were anything but. Yet when he looked at the cloaked figure in the corner, he felt no fear. "No," he said. "You should be." Her voice carried something that might have been sadness. "My kind is not known for mercy." "Then why are you here? Listening to music in an empty bar?" The question hung in the air. Cross had stopped pretending to work behind the counter. All 6 of his arms were still, his large eyes fixed on Hirin. She stood slowly. "May I come closer?" Daewon nodded. She moved like smoke, crossing the bar in steps that barely made sound. When she reached the edge of the stage, she stopped. Her hands, pale and long-fingered, reached up and pushed back her hood. Daewon's breath caught. She was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Her face was almost human, with high cheekbones and full lips, but her eyes were wrong. They were gold, bright molten gold with vertical slits for pupils, and along her cheekbones, down her neck, scattered across her skin like fallen stars, were scales. They caught the dim light and reflected it back in shades of crimson and bronze. "Drakari," Cross whispered. All 6 of his arms wrapped around himself. "Yes." Hirin's golden eyes never left Daewon's face. "Do you know what that means?" "Dragon people," Daewon said. Everyone in the fractured rim knew about the Drakari. They ruled whole sectors of space, burning worlds that resisted, crushing civilizations under their claws. They were older than most spacefaring species, more powerful, more terrible. "You are one of the dragon people." "I was." Her voice carried weight now, like stones dropping into deep water. "Once I was more than that. I was Empress of the Crimson Dynasty. 14 systems bowed to my rule. Millions spoke my name in fear and respect." Daewon stared at her. An Empress. A ruler of worlds. Standing in a dying bar in the lowest level of a forgotten station. What happened? Hirin's eyes flickered. Something like pain crossed her face. "I committed the greatest crime a Drakari can commit. I showed mercy." She turned away, moving to the edge of the stage. Her cloak fell open and Daewon saw her back. Where wings should have been, there were only twisted scars, broken remnants of something that once could have carried her through the stars. "There was a world called Talvos," she said quietly. "Small, unimportant, they resisted my rule. Drakari law is clear. Resistance means death. Burn the world. Leave nothing but ash." She touched one of the scars on her back. "But I went there. I saw them. Mothers holding children. Old ones protecting young. They were not warriors. They were just people trying to survive." "You let them live," Daewon said. "I let them live. I gave them 1 generation to submit peacefully. I thought mercy was strength." Her laugh was bitter. "My cousin Taeyang saw weakness. He brought my crime before the Council of Flames. They agreed. Compassion is corruption. It spreads like disease. Better to cut it out before it destroys the dynasty." Cross made a low clicking sound. "They exiled you. They broke my wings. Stripped my title. Cast me into the void with nothing but my life." Hirin turned back to face them. "Any Drakari who speaks my name will have their tongue cut out.
Any world that shelters me will burn."
I am dead to my people. Less than dead, I am forgotten." Daewon set his guitar down and stood. He walked to the edge of the stage until he was close enough to see the tiny scales on her cheekbones shift with each breath. "Why come here? Why risk being found?" Her golden eyes met his. Because I heard your music. Do you know how Drakari speak to each other? Not with words. With resonance. We create frequencies that carry emotion directly into another's mind. Your human music. It is the only thing in all the galaxy that comes close to our language. When I heard you play, I heard loneliness that matched my own, grief that echoed mine. For the first time in 2 years, I felt less alone. Something cracked open in Daewon's chest. He understood. Music was his refuge, his escape, the only thing that made sense. For her, it was a lifeline, a connection to something she had lost. You can come here, he said. Every night. I play every night. They are hunting me, Hyarin said. My cousin sends warriors to track me down. If they find me here, everyone in this bar will die. Your friend Cross, you. Anyone who has sheltered a traitor? Let them come, Cross said suddenly. All 6 arms unfolded, reaching for the plasma rifle he kept under the counter. The Void's End does not bow to empires, dragon or otherwise. Hyarin looked at the alien bar owner with something like surprise. You would risk your life for a stranger? I would risk my life for good music, Cross said. And what you two create together is the best music I have heard in 40 years. Daewon felt warmth spread through his chest. He looked at Hyarin, at her broken back and sad eyes and the weight of exile she carried. He saw himself in her, someone running from a past that would not let go, someone trying to find meaning in the ruins. I lost my sister, he said quietly, 2 years ago. Transport accident in the Mars corridor. She was the only family I had. The only person who believed in my music. His voice cracked. I was supposed to be on that transport with her. But I stayed behind to finish a song. A stupid song that nobody remembers. She died and I lived and I could not stay on Earth. I could not look at places we went together. So I ran. I came here to the edge of everything and I play music in an empty bar because it is the only thing that makes sense anymore. Hyarin's eyes softened. She reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away. When he did not, she placed her hand on his shoulder. Her palm was warm, warmer than human skin should be. We are both exiles, she said. Yes. Both running from grief, yes. Then perhaps we can run together. At least for a while, Daewon smiled. It felt strange on his face, like a muscle he had forgotten how to use. I would like that. Hyarin pulled her hood back up, but not before Daewon saw her smile in return. She moved back to her corner table and sat down. Play, she said. And I will sing, so Daewon played. And Hyarin sang. And for the first time in 2 years, neither of them felt quite so alone. 3 weeks passed like a dream. Hyarin came every night. She arrived when the station's artificial sun dimmed to simulate evening, and she stayed until the last song ended. Sometimes she kept her hood up. Sometimes she let it fall. Daewon learned to read her moods in the way her scales caught the light, shifting from deep crimson to soft bronze depending on her emotions. They did not always talk. Often they just played. Music became their language, more honest than words. Daewon would start a melody and Hyarin would add her resonant harmonics, and together they created something neither could make alone. Teach me about human music, Hyarin said one night. They were taking a break between songs, sitting on the stage with their legs dangling over the edge. I understand resonance. I understand how frequencies carry emotion. But your music has something else. Structure, pattern, what do you call it? Rhythm, Daewon said. He tapped his hand against his knee in a steady beat. Time divided into patterns, and melody, which is notes arranged in sequence, and harmony, which is multiple notes played together. He strummed his guitar, demonstrating. We build songs like building houses. Foundation, walls, roof. Each part supports the others. Hyarin listened carefully. Her golden eyes tracked his fingers on the frets. Drakari music is not built. It flows, like water or fire. No beginning, no end. Just constant change. Can you teach me? Daewon asked. She smiled, and his chest felt warm. Close your eyes, he did. The world went dark behind his eyelids. Feel the vibration in your bones, Hyarin said softly. Then she began to hum. The sound entered Daewon's body like a wave. It did not stop at his ears. It moved through his chest, his ribs, his spine. He could feel emotion in it. Sadness, yes, but also hope. Longing. A need for connection so deep it hurt. The resonance painted pictures in his mind. He saw stars and burning worlds and endless void. When she stopped, he gasped. Tears ran down his cheeks. That is how my people speak, Hyarin said quietly. Soul to soul. No lies, no hiding. Just truth. Daewon opened his eyes and looked at her. Can we combine them? Your way and mine? Her eyes lit up. We can try, so they experimented. Daewon played structured melodies while Hyarin wove her resonance through them. Sometimes it clashed, frequencies fighting each other, but slowly they found balance. His rhythm gave her flowing sound a skeleton. Her emotion gave his structured music a soul. The fusion was extraordinary. On the fourth week, something changed. A group of aliens wandered into the void's end during their performance. Traders from the upper levels, slumming in the depths. They were loud and drunk, looking for trouble. Then they heard the music. All conversation stopped. They stood frozen near the door, staring at the stage. At the human with his ancient guitar, and the hooded figure whose voice should not be possible. The song Daewon and Hyarin were playing spoke of exile and belonging, of finding home in unexpected places. The traders listened until the last note faded. Then they sat down and ordered drinks. "Play more," one of them called out. Daewon looked at Hyarin. She nodded. They played more. Word spread through Hollow Point like fire. Every night a few more people came. First 5, then 10, then 20. Species that normally avoided each other sat side by side, united by the strange music coming from a dying bar in the lowest levels. Cross had to hire extra staff. The 6-armed alien grinned with all 3 mouths as he served drinks to packed tables. "I knew your music was special," he told Daewon. "But this is a miracle." Daewon felt something shift inside him. For 2 years he had hidden from the world, playing music to empty rooms. He had convinced himself that he did not deserve an audience, that his grief made him unworthy of connection. But now, looking at the faces in the crowd, he saw something different. His pain, shared through music, helped others feel less alone. His exile gave meaning to their exile. "You are healing," Hyarin said one night. They were in the back room taking a break. She had pushed her hood back and her scales glimmered in the dim light. "Maybe," Daewon admitted. "The music helps. You help. You help me too." She touched the scars on her back where her wings used to be. "For the first time since my exile, I feel like I have purpose. In Drakari culture, music is privilege. Only those with rank and honor may sing. When they broke my wings, they took my voice. But here with you, I am reclaiming it." Daewon reached out and took her hand. Her skin was warm, almost hot. "We are both reclaiming something, making something new from broken pieces." She squeezed his hand. "Yes." But even as the crowds grew and the music flourished, Daewon noticed things. The way Hyarin's eyes scanned the room constantly, the way she kept her back to the wall, the way she tensed every time the door opened. "You are worried," he said. "Always." Her voice was tight. The larger the crowd, the greater the chance that word reaches the wrong ears. "The Crimson Dynasty has spies everywhere. If Taeyang learns I am here, he will send warriors. Not to bring me back. To erase me completely. Then we stop," Daewon said. "We play in secret. Just you and me and Cross." "No." Her eyes blazed. "I spent 2 years hiding in shadows, too afraid to sing, too afraid to be seen. I will not go back to that. If they come, they come. But I will not stop making music, not now. Not after I finally found this." Daewon understood. Music had saved him from drowning in grief. It was saving her from disappearing entirely. To stop playing would be to accept defeat, to let exile win. "Then we keep going," he said. "Together." The next night, the bar was more packed than ever. 40 people crammed into space meant for 30. They sat on floors and stood against walls. Species from every corner of known space, drawn by rumors of something extraordinary happening in the void's end. Daewon stepped onto the stage and felt the weight of their attention. His hands shook as he lifted his guitar. For a moment he was frozen. This was too much. Too many eyes. Too much expectation. Then Hyarin's hand touched his shoulder. "Breathe," she whispered. "Feel the music. Let everything else fade." He closed his eyes and took a breath, found the calm center where music lived. When he opened his eyes again, the crowd had disappeared. There was only Hyarin and the guitar and the song waiting to be born. He played, she sang, and the bar filled with sound so beautiful that people wept openly. The music spoke of loss and hope, of breaking and healing, of finding light in the deepest dark. It was human and Drakari and something entirely new, a bridge between worlds, proof that exile did not have to mean the end. When the song ended, silence held for 3 heartbeats. Then the crowd erupted. Not applause exactly, as different species showed appreciation in different ways, but the emotion was clear. Gratitude, awe, connection. Day One looked at Hyarin and saw his own wonder reflected in her golden eyes. This was what music was for. Not to hide from pain, but to transform it into something that could touch others. Not to run from grief, but to carry it forward and make it mean something. Later, after the crowd had gone and Cross was cleaning up, Day-One and Hyarin sat on the stage in comfortable silence. "Thank you," Day-One said quietly. "For what?" "For giving me a reason to play again." "Really play, not just go through motions," Hyarin smiled. "You gave me my voice back. I think we are even." The station hummed around them. Somewhere above, ships came and went. Somewhere in the distance, empires rose and fell. But here, in the lowest level of Hollow Point, two exiles had found home in each other's music. The peace lasted 3 more days. Then the hunters arrived. The bar was full when they came. Day-One was midway through a song, fingers dancing across guitar strings when the temperature dropped. Not physically, something else. A change in the air that made his skin prickle and his breath catch. Beside him, Hyarin's voice faltered. Her scales, which had been glowing soft bronze, suddenly flared crimson. The door slid open. 3 figures entered. They wore no cloaks, no disguises. They wanted to be seen. Each one stood nearly 7 feet tall, bodies covered in scales that gleamed like polished metal. Their eyes were gold like Hyarin's, but colder, empty. And behind them, folded against their backs, were wings, massive wings of crimson and black that scraped the ceiling. Drakari warriors. The music died. Conversation stopped. Every alien in the bar felt the danger radiating from the newcomers like heat from a star. Those nearest the door quietly moved away. The lead warrior, a female with scales like burnished copper, scanned the room with predator eyes. Her gaze locked onto Hyarin. "Sora," Hyarin whispered. She stood slowly, pushing her hood back. Her scales had gone dark, the color of old blood. "My former general." Sora moved forward. Each step was precise, controlled. Power held in check but ready to explode. The other 2 warriors flanked her, hands resting on weapons at their hips. They stopped 10 feet from the stage. "You shame yourself by speaking to me," Sora said. Her voice was like gravel and silk, beautiful and terrible. "The dead have no names. The exiled have no voices. You are less than nothing, and yet you dare to sing." Day-One stepped in front of Hyarin. His legs shook, but he did not move. "This is neutral territory. The fractured rim bows to no empire." Sora's eyes shifted to him. For a moment, something flickered in those golden depths. Surprise, maybe, that a human would dare speak. "Step aside, small thing. This does not concern you. She is my friend. That makes it concern me." One of the other warriors laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "It has a spine." How amusing. Sora held up a hand and the laughter stopped. She studied Day-One with the intensity of a hawk studying a mouse. "You know what she is? What she did? I know she showed mercy when your laws demanded death. I know she chose compassion over cruelty. If that is a crime, then your laws are broken." The bar went silent. Nobody breathed. Challenging Drakari philosophy was suicide. Their entire culture was built on strength, on dominance, on the idea that mercy was weakness and weakness was death. Sora's scales rippled. Bold words from one so fragile. "Tell me, human, if I were to burn everyone in this bar right now, reduce them to ash and bone, would that be strength or weakness?" "It would be fear," Day-One said. His voice was steady despite the terror flooding his veins. "Only the afraid kill without reason. True strength is choosing not to." The warrior's eyes narrowed. Her hand moved to her weapon. Day-One knew he was going to die, but at least he would die standing. "Wait." Hyarin stepped around Day-One, placing herself between him and the warriors. "Sora, you served under me for 20 years. You were my most trusted general. Do you remember the Battle of Karn's Gate? I took a blade meant for you. I still carry the scar." Sora's expression did not change. "That was before you were corrupted. Before you betrayed everything the Crimson Dynasty stands for." "I saved lives," Hyarin said. Her voice carried pain. "I gave a world time to surrender peacefully." "How is that betrayal?" "Because it spreads weakness like disease." Sora took a step forward. Already other worlds look at Talvos and think they too can resist without consequence. Already young warriors question whether mercy might be acceptable. You planted seeds of doubt that will destroy our empire from within. That is why you must be erased. Not just killed, forgotten. Every trace of your existence burned away. Cross appeared at the edge of the stage. All 6 arms held weapons now. Around the bar, others stood. The crowd that had come to hear music now stood ready to fight. Different species, different worlds, united by something simple. They had heard beauty, and they would not let it be destroyed without resistance. You will have to go through all of us, Cross said. Sora looked at the armed crowd. For a moment, calculation flickered across her face. She could kill everyone here. Her warriors could burn the bar to slag. But it would be costly. Many would die, but so would some of her warriors. And for what? To erase one exile? There is another way, Sora said slowly. She turned her attention back to Hirin. Do you remember the trial by resonance? Hirin went still. That ritual has not been invoked in 300 years, but it still exists in law. I invoke it now. Sora's scales shifted, reflecting light like mirrors. You claim your mercy came from strength, not weakness. Prove it. Undergo the trial. If you succeed, I will leave you unharmed. If you fail, you die, but these others live. What is the trial by resonance? Daewon asked. Hirin's voice was quiet. A song of truth. Drakari ritual that forces the singer to expose their innermost self. Every emotion, every memory, every hidden thing laid bare. The song cannot lie. It shows the truth of your soul. Then do it, Daewon said. Show them. It is not so simple. Hirin turned to him. Her golden eyes were full of sorrow. Songs of truth require 2 singers in perfect synchronization. Both souls laid bare merge together. If either singer cannot bear the weight of truth, both die. Their hearts stop. Their minds break. She touched his face gently. It must be performed by 2 Drakari nobles. No human has ever attempted it. Then I will be the first you do not understand. The song will tear open everything inside you. Every pain, every fear, every regret. It will pull Jiwoo's death to the surface and make you live it again, and again, and again, until you either accept it or shatter. Daewon took her hands in his. They were shaking. I know. But we have been healing each other with music for weeks. Our songs together are already songs of truth, just smaller. We can do this. He is right, Cross said quietly. I have watched you play. What you create together is already something impossible. This is just one more impossible thing. Sora made a sound that might have been respect or disdain. The human shows courage. Foolish but courage nonetheless. Very well. You have until tomorrow night to prepare. If you refuse the trial, I will burn this bar and everyone in it. If you attempt it and fail, you both die, but the others live. If you succeed, she paused. If you succeed, I will declare your exile ended. You will be free. Hirin's eyes widened. You have that authority? I am General of the Crimson Fleet. I speak with the Empress's voice. Sora's expression was unreadable. But know this. No one has survived a song of truth in living memory. The weight of absolute honesty destroys most singers. You will die. The human will die. But at least you will die with honor. The 3 warriors turned and left. The door slid shut behind them and warmth slowly returned to the bar. People began talking all at once, voices overlapping in a dozen languages. Daewon and Hirin stood on the stage, still holding hands. You should run, Hirin said. Leave the station. Go somewhere safe. No. Daewon, you could die. I could. But I could also help you survive. And I could prove that humans and Drakari can create something more powerful than either species alone. He smiled, even though his heart was racing. Besides, I spent 2 years running from pain. I am done running. If facing the truth of Jiwoo's death is what it takes to save you and everyone here, then I will face it. Hirin's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. You are either the bravest human I have met or the most foolish. Both probably. She laughed, a sound like bells. Then her expression went serious. We need to prepare. Songs of truth follow specific patterns. I will teach you everything I know. But understand there are no guarantees. We might both die tomorrow. Then we better make tonight count. They spent the night practicing. Hirin taught him the basic structure of songs of truth. The way resonance had to flow between singers. The absolute honesty required. Daewon shared everything about Jiwoo. Her laugh. Her dreams. The way she used to steal his guitar and play badly on purpose just to make him smile. The transport accident. The guilt that followed. As artificial dawn approached, they sat on the stage exhausted. Ready? Hirin asked. No, but I will be there anyway. She leaned her head against his shoulder. Thank you. for being foolish enough to try this. Thank you for teaching me that music is meant to be shared, not hidden. Tomorrow they would sing. Tomorrow, they would face truth or die trying. But tonight, they rested together, two exiles finding strength in each other. The bar had never been so full. Word of the trial by resonance spread through Station Hollow Point like wildfire. By evening, every species in the fractured rim had sent representatives. They packed the void's end until there was no room to breathe. They lined the walls, sat in every corner, filled the doorway. Some came to witness history. Others came to see justice done. Most came because they had heard the music and needed to know how the story ended. Daewon stood on the stage and tried to control his shaking hands. His guitar hung across his chest, familiar weight that suddenly felt heavier than a planet. Beside him, Hirin stood with her hood down, scales glowing crimson in the dim light. Her golden eyes were calm, but he could see tension in her shoulders. The three Drakari warriors stood in a circle around the stage. Sora's wings were fully extended now, massive and terrible, blocking half the bar. Her eyes locked onto Hirin with an expression that might have been anticipation or regret. "The rules are simple," Sora announced. Her voice carried to every corner. "You will sing a song of truth. The song will reveal your souls completely. No lies, no hiding. If your soul is pure, you survive. If it is corrupted by weakness, you die. The human has chosen to join you. His death will be on your conscience." Hirin's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Cross moved through the crowd to stand near the stage. All 6 arms were crossed, but his eyes were warm. "Play well, my friends," Daewon nodded. His throat felt tight. Around the bar, dozens of species watched in silence. Waiting, he looked at Hirin. She looked back. In her golden eyes he saw fear and hope and determination. He wondered what she saw in his. "Ready?" he whispered. "No. But we begin anyway." Daewon lifted his guitar and placed his fingers on the strings. This was it. Everything he had learned about music, about truth, about himself came down to this moment. He thought of Jiwoo, her smile, her faith in him, the way she always knew when he needed encouragement. He began to play. The first notes were simple, a melody he had played 1,000 times. But as Hirin's voice joined his, something changed. The resonance she created was not like their practice sessions. This was deeper, stronger. It vibrated in his bones and blood and brain. The world blurred at the edges. Then the truth began. Memories flooded Daewon's mind, not just remembering, living. He was back on Earth in his small apartment the morning before Jiwoo's trip. She stood in his doorway, bag over her shoulder, smiling that smile that lit up rooms. "Come with me," Memory Jiwoo said. "The Mars colonies are supposed to be beautiful this time of year." "I can't. I need to finish this piece. The producer wants it by tomorrow. The producer can wait. When was the last time we did something together? Soon, I promise." After this project, she sighed. Hugged him. "You always say that. One day you'll realize songs can wait, but people can't." Then she was gone. And hours later the call came. Transport accident in the Mars corridor. Catastrophic failure. No survivors. The pain hit Daewon like a physical blow. He gasped, fingers stuttering on the strings. But the song would not let him stop. It pulled him deeper. He saw every moment he had chosen work over Jiwoo. Every time he was too busy, too focused, too absorbed in his music to notice she needed him. The Song of Truth laid bare his guilt, his selfishness, his desperate need to matter, to create something important while ignoring the most important thing in his life. He wanted to scream, wanted to stop. But Hirin's voice held him steady, woven through his pain like golden thread. Then her memories joined his. Daewon saw through Hirin's eyes, felt what she felt. He was standing on the bridge of a warship, looking down at Talvos, a green and blue world spinning peacefully below. His advisors surrounded him, demanding action. "They refused our terms, Empress. Burn them as an example." But then he saw what Hirin saw. Thermal scans of the planet, cities full of life. Not soldiers, not warriors, families, children, people whose only crime was wanting freedom. He felt her struggle, the weight of tradition crushing down, the expectation that an empress showed strength through destruction, but underneath a quiet voice asking, "What if there is another way?" "Give them time," Memory Hirin said. "One generation. Let them see our empire can be just as well as strong." "Mercy is weakness," her advisors hissed. Then I choose to be weak. The memory shifted. Her cousin Tae Yang standing before the Council of Flames declaring her unfit. The trial. The breaking of her wings. Pain like nothing Daewon had ever imagined. Then darkness. Exile. 2 years of hiding and running and slowly forgetting what it felt like to have purpose. The Song of Truth pulled both their pains together, merging them. Daewon felt Hyrin's loneliness as his own. She felt his guilt as hers. Their separate griefs became one grief, doubled and reflected and amplified until it should have destroyed them both. But something else happened. As Daewon's guitar wove through Hyrin's resonance, the pain began to transform. His fingers found new patterns, building on the foundation of truth. He played notes that spoke of acceptance, of forgiveness, of understanding that being human meant making mistakes, and making mistakes did not make you worthless. Hyrin's voice rose with his music. She sang of mercy not as weakness but as the hardest kind of strength, the courage to go against every instinct, every tradition, every expectation, because it was right. Their song evolved beyond simple truth into something more, a harmony that acknowledged pain without drowning in it, music that said, yes, I hurt, yes, I failed, yes, I carry regrets, but I am still here, still trying, still hoping, the bar filled with light. Not physical light, but something else. Emotion made visible, resonance so pure it could be seen. Golden threads connected Daewon to Hyryn, weaving between them like a tapestry being born. Daewon saw Jiwoo one last time. She stood in front of him, smiling. You always were too hard on yourself, she said. I never blamed you. Not once I was proud of you. Your music mattered. It still matters. Stop punishing yourself for being human. I miss you. Daewon whispered through the song. I know, but you found someone else who needed you. Keep playing for her, for them, for yourself. She faded, but this time the pain was different. Softer. Not gone, but bearable. He could carry this. He could live with this. Hyryn's voice soared higher. Her scales blazed like stars. She sang of every world she had conquered, every life she had taken, every mistake she had made. But she sang also of growth, of learning, of choosing to become better than what she was born to be. The song built to a crescendo. Daewon's fingers flew across the strings, no longer thinking, just feeling. Hyryn's resonance shook the entire bar. Their two truths merged together created something impossible. Something that should not exist. Human emotion and Drakari power woven into one voice. Then, with a final note that seemed to contain all the pain and hope in the universe, the song ended. Silence fell like snow. Daewon opened his eyes. He was on his knees on the stage, guitar still clutched in his hands. His face was wet with tears. Every muscle ached. His head pounded. But he was alive. Beside him, Hyryn knelt, breathing hard. Her scales had gone pale gold, the color of sunrise. She looked at him with wide eyes, as shocked as he was that they had survived. Around them, the crowd was silent. Some wept openly. Others stood frozen, overwhelmed by what they had witnessed. Even the Drakari warriors looked shaken. Sora stepped forward. Her wings folded slowly. She stared at Hyryn for a long moment, and Daewon saw something impossible in those cold golden eyes. Tears. I have never seen a song of truth like that, Sora said. Her voice was rough. I have never felt. She trailed off, searching for words. You showed me something I did not think possible. That mercy and strength can exist together. That compassion does not weaken but strengthens. She knelt before Hyryn, wings touching the floor in a position of deepest respect. Your soul is pure, Empress. Purer than any I have known. You were not corrupted by mercy. You were elevated by it. Sora looked up and her eyes blazed. I will return to the Crimson Dynasty. I will tell them what I witnessed here. I will challenge the doctrine that compassion is weakness, and if they try to silence me, I will fight. The other two warriors knelt as well. The bar erupted. Not cheering exactly, but sounds of approval in a dozen different forms. Clicks and hums and roars and whispers, all meaning the same thing. Victory, survival, hope. Daewon helped Hyryn to her feet. She was shaking, scales shimmering between colors like she could not decide what to feel. You are free, he said. We are free, she corrected. Her smile was radiant. You faced your truth. You let Jiwoo go. Not let go. Carry forward. There is a difference, Sora stood. The trial is complete. Your exile is ended. You may return home if you wish. Hiren looked around the bar, at Cross grinning with all three mouths, at the crowd that had come to hear their music, at the stage where they had created something impossible, at Daewon standing beside her, still holding his guitar. I am home, she said simply. The next night, the Void's End was even more packed than before. Word had spread beyond Station Hollow Point, beyond the fractured rim. Across the galaxy, people heard about the human and the dragon who sang a song of truth and survived. They came to hear what else was possible. Daewon sat on the stage tuning his guitar. Hiren sat beside him, scales glowing soft bronze, content, at peace. What should we play tonight? He asked. Something new. Something that says we are not running anymore. I know just the piece. When he began to play, she began to sing. And together they filled the void with music that spoke of endings and beginnings, of grief and healing, of two exiles who found home in each other's song. Outside, ships came and went. Empires rose and fell. The galaxy turned on, vast and uncaring. But in one small bar on a forgotten station, magic happened every night. Two people from different worlds making something beautiful from broken pieces, and everyone who heard it left a little less alone.